Namaskar, I am Rajendra Salokhe. Watching Judit Polgar games is like reading the poetry of Shakespeare. The games are full of tactics and just amazing and gives immense pleasure watching them. Now when the trainer tells the students that don't lose your pieces, don't lose your pieces, I point them to Judit Polgar because many of her games she will lose a piece, she will sacrifice a piece and apply such a tactics that US cannot come out of the mid. So let us watch. And here is the game. Judit Polgar playing white, Vladimir Epishin playing black. Now e4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, d cross e4, knight cross e4, knight to d7. Common moves, Caro Kann, Petrosian's Law variation, knight to f6, knight to g5. Now this knight to d5 is very dangerous and it is threatening f7 both bishop and knight. So by mistake, if you leave this pawn up, that is you play supposing h7 pawn to h6, then there is a checkmate. So in Caro Kann, you have to always remember that you have to first play this e6 and then leave that pawn. Supposing say you play h6, then it is a mate. You checkmated. So you have to always play e6 first. Block this bishop from f7 attack. Now next is queen to e2, knight b6, bishop goes back, is threatening one by one, it is threatening and moving away the attackers, like threatening the bishop, but bishop goes on, but still it has got an attack on this, at least e6 and then f7. Now he threatens the knight away, plays h6, so knight has to move now. He plays c5, threatens this pawn. Judit plays bishop f4, bishop d6, so wants to exchange the bishop. There is no bad exchanging bishop, but she is not exchanging. She takes it back to g3, queen to c7 and makes an array of actually his queen was supporting this bishop, but now it is put into the same diagonal. D cross c5, forking both knight and bishop, but queen is there to take care of. Judith castles long, then he crosses, Vladimir crosses g3, bishop cross g3, and then h cross gc. Now this is a very, in fact, very dangerous situation. I come across a lot of games like this. You are opening this h file by taking it, by moving the pawn from this thing h2. Now the rook has got more movements and is much developed, so it's very dangerous, can attack here. So I think this should never be done crossing like this. Bishop goes to d7. Now see, rook goes to h4. Now rook is placed, always we say that place the rook on the file, but another version of that is place the rook on the ranks. So this rank is totally open and free for rook. So see what movement this rook has got. Then he puts rook to c8, doubling the strength on this c file. Knight goes to e5. That is again, e5 is a very dangerous this thing plays in every opening. In fact, bishop goes to b5 and threatens the queen. So queen goes to e1. Now black short castles. That is another dangerous because opposite castling is there. So white player can put all his force to this right side. Knight goes to g3. Knight to d5. She moves king to b1, a much safer position. Bishop to c6. Plays queen to d2, thus doubling this force here on the d file. Places rooks on e8, rook on e8. Now she doubled the rook here. She has doubled the rook here, and so a lot of pressure is there at the right side. Queen so goes back to f8 to strengthen the king there. You should always take care of your king, and all your this thing forces should not be very much away from the king. She pushes the pawn to g4. Knight to e4 and threatening this queen. So queen goes to e2. Again, queen and rook are connected here. Knight goes to d5, d6. She pushes the pawn up to g5. Knight to f5. Now she ignores the rook, so gives as a decoy or something. Rook is going, but she has not paid any attention to rook. She had pushed the pawn to h6. So sacrificing the rook here. So he easily takes the rook. Doesn't understand the complexities of the moves. So she places the pawn to h7 and gives a check. Now king moves to h8, because if it takes h8, then there will be a check from here e4 through queen, and white will be in difficulty. Now she crosses the knight. Knight to h4. Then he plays knight f4. Queen. Now this is a very tactical move. Very difficult for amateurs and even middle game players to understand. Now she has directly put the queen in front of the king. So it looks like a mistake or something, but if it takes the queen, see what happens. Straight away gets a checkmate. Queen, cross queen. Then she places a knight here to g6, f cross g6, and then knight to f7 is a checkmate with pawn and knight. But he understands. Vladimir understood that he cannot take the, because Judit Polgar won't play something foolish, very foolish. So he understands, so he plays queen to d4. Sorry, he plays g5. g5 is already played here. So he plays g5. Threatening this knight and making room for the king also. So queen goes to d4, king to g7, knight to f5 and check, e cross f5, he moves h8 and makes a queen. Now there is no alternative then to cross the queen, because see, otherwise there is a checkmate. So he has to cross the queen. So knight cross f7 and knight cross f7, 1 minute, knight cross f7 and check from the queen here. Now she didn't hurry for the taking queen through the rook. She first gives the check, but at place that Vladimir Epichin has resigned. He has no hopes. Let's see what can happen further. This rook cross e5 seems to be the only best move, but that rook goes. King g6, knight cross h8, queen. Now this king cannot move, it is blocked. Only at his place is safe, otherwise all the squares are blocked. So rook crosses h8, and there is no alternative than to remove the check. Check is there, and there is no alternative than to cross the rook, knight. So rook crosses the knight, queen to d6, knight e6. It puts in between, but there is no use, like queen crosses that, e6, king goes to g7 and queen to f7 and checkmate. So this is a very tactical game, a lot of interesting moves. I had made one video on similar Caro Kann game with Vishwanath Anand and Judit Polgar, but that time Judit Polgar lost. But you can see how her attacking and her tactics were there. Only Vishwanath Anand could only defeat it. Thank you very much. Keep watching and subscribe this channel.